Hello, welcome to Respawn Aim Fire, a podcast about video games, a podcast within a podcast within a podcast about video games. Yeah, I've never hosted one of these, so this is a special BARF episode, Backlog Accomplishment with Respawn and Friends, where we're talking about Halo Infinite, specifically the multiplayer. I wanted an excuse to play this again because life, you don't got time for all the live service stuff you want to play most of the time. So this was an excuse for me to jump back in. Yeah, I guess we'll just go over some Halo Infinite stuff that Adam brought up from Wikipedia with some gameplay in the background here. And then we'll talk about kind of my time with the multiplayer in the year of our Lord 2026. So yeah, this game, it came out in 2021. It was developed by not Bungie, 343 Industries, and came out published by Xbox Game Studios, as you can imagine. This came out free to play with the multiplayer first, right? The multiplayer came out a few months in advance in 2021. It was supposed to come out. Okay, it came out. Sorry, Adam's highlighting things on the fly here. On November 15, 2021, an open beta for Halo Infinite's multiplayer aspect was released on Windows, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X and S in celebration of the Xbox and the Halo series 20th anniversary. Yeah, it was supposed to come out in 2020 as a launch title for the Xbox Series X, but it got delayed a few months before in August, which is really unfortunate because that would have been like peak console launch. Right, if it launched with
that was the
Halo
reason
Infinite.
everyone that's the reason I got an Xbox Series X was like, I can't wait for Halo to launch right now. Let's go.
Yeah, and a part of that delay was like all the Craig stuff Chad was saying like before. It was a brute who looked real derpy and pixelated, which to be fair, it did look pretty bad. So they definitely needed the extra time to work on it. But yeah, it was delayed so late to the point that Halo Infinite was just on the box of the Series X, like really big on the back. There's a big Master Chief Halo Infinite logo. So yeah. But yeah, when this game came out, November 15, 2021, it came out in beta, even though it was just the full multiplayer. It came out in technical beta as like I don't know, hey, the whole game's not out yet. So here's the beta of the multiplayer, which is just the whole multiplayer. But yeah, it had all the core gameplay or game modes. Like it had deathmatch, capture the flag, 4v4 modes, big team battle variants. And big team battle was up to 24 players, which is really cool. Still is cool, but we'll talk about that in a bit. What else does this say, Adam? Ability pickups allow players to activate special powers a limited number of times. Powers include dashing, active camouflage, repulsor charges that can knock back enemies, projectiles, and vehicles back. A training mode allows players... Why are we talking about training? Why are we talking about training, Adam? Why'd you copy the training mode in here?
This is just stuff about the multiplayer. You can skip it.
Why'd you pull bringing up the training mode?
Go over here. Go down to this.
So basically all those abilities are kind of similar to what Halo Reach had. Halo Reach and I think Halo 4 had abilities that you could pick up on the map and use, or Halo Reach you spawned with them, and I think you could swap them on the field. Halo Infinite were abilities you picked up. On Metacritic, it's sitting at an 87 out of 100 for Xbox Series X and S. I assume that is what XXXX stands for. Open Critic is 94%, which is actually really good. It was selected by Game Informer as their Game of the Year, which is very surprising that like such a major outlet gave it Game of the Year. Which, to be fair, I think is, I don't know. I loved the campaign of it. It felt like a new breath of life into the Halo franchise. Like, which, I don't know. It really personified the Master Chief a bit more, other than just being like this big dumb robot who fell in love with an AI blue bitch. So yeah. And this is coming from somebody who, like, this is like my favorite game series of all time. But yeah, by January 2022, Halo Infinite had reached 20 million players concurrently. No, I'm just kidding. That'd be fucking insane. Could you imagine a game that has 20 million concurrent players? Sounds like a nightmare.
That's actually crazy. All this is fun, or just to go back over, because I think we forget. I mean, we're going to talk into it because we're talking about multiplayer specifically, But this game was actually a success. I feel like that gets lost because from like November to like December, between multiplayer and the campaign, people were like, yes, Halo's back, Halo's awesome. And then in like January or February, it became the multiplayer thing of like, we don't have enough new maps, we don't have enough new content. I think that's where people soured on Halo Infinite, because that's like a big part of its multiplayer life, like story, is that people complained there wasn't enough content, which there wasn't. And then we get to that point where like there's not enough content, 343 is going through a bunch of turmoil, maybe the engine sucks, whatever, we're going to switch it eventually. But then also like at random points throughout the life cycle, people are also like, oh, it was actually, they had a really good update and Halo Infinite is like back and multiplayers are really good. Like, what a crazy life this game has had. But I just always forget at the beginning, people were like, no, this game is fucking awesome.
Yeah,
just an interesting point.
It still is awesome, but like, it all comes back to the content, right? Like you said, it came and went in waves, right? The game came out, it was a ton of fun. You know, it had the great feel of Halo. The graphics were awesome, you know, running at 60 or 120 FPS, depending on what you're playing on. Everything looked great. It was a ton of fun to play with friends. But there was a lot of stuff, like, I don't remember at launch if it had custom games. If it did, it was very dumbed down, right? Like, just, like weird stuff like that. And like missing certain game modes, like SWAT, I don't think was a launch game mode, which is a pretty core Halo mode for some people, myself included. I love SWAT.
I feel like there was also like there was some kind of thing where you couldn't even choose the game mode you wanted to play. Like you had to play whatever, like, I don't know, did Oddball pop up every once in a while? We're like, oh fuck, we got to play Oddball now. Is that a thing?
Yeah.
Or am I making that up?
Yeah. I think you're right, because I think that like one of the main game modes was like Team Arena was one, right? Which had like everything in it. It was 4v4, had, you know, capture the flag, probably King of the Hill. Yeah. And Oddball obviously is one of them. Slayer is one of them. Yeah, I remember there not being enough game modes at launch, but it still was a ton of fun. And I think that it was just maybe it was nostalgia, honestly. People like loving Halo, but this is the most recent Halo we had in the last, 7 years at that point. So it just felt fresh and good. But yeah, like you said, Adam, like the content just wasn't there. I remember like I stopped playing within 6 months because there just wasn't anything. It was like, I think they released like 1 or 2 new maps or something, and that was it. And they had the battle pass, right? Which every live service game needs a battle pass now. It's like the way they fund the updates, but the updates are too few and far between, right? Like for a game that you want to keep relevant and you want people, like, I'm a diehard Halo fan. I should be wanting to come play this game at least once a month, right? There should be something, like there should be a new game mode that's like, oh, I need to hop on Halo and check it out for a few hours, right? At the very least. But yeah, it was just way too few and far between. Like one of the best updates I remember is when they had the collaboration with Mountain Dew and they were doing the game fuel stuff, and there was a Halo 3 refueled game mode in the game. I played the fuck out of that. And then they just didn't update the game for like, I don't know, 6 months after that. And I was like, what the hell? And then once they updated it, that game mode went away. And I think it came back once or twice, but I don't know. When something like that like strikes with the audience, you should keep it in the game, right? Like, so that's part of my issues with the game right now is like when I played it this past month, like it was just all the basic game modes. There was nothing that stuck out as like, oh, this is like a timed game mode and it's fun. Nothing like that.
Did they not put everything back in since they're not supporting it? They didn't bring back all the limited stuff?
No, it's probably just some sort of cycle of game modes that come and go. Yeah. Like, I don't know if it's weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, what it is, but every time I played, I just saw the same few game modes and none of them were things that were crazy cool to me. Like I played what's it called? Tactical Slayer, which is what they changed the name of SWAT to in this. And I love that, but guess what? Not that many people playing Tactical Slayer nowadays. So I was running into some of the same people ranked. Like, there was one guy I played like 3 games in a row was in my game. And like stuff like that is very noticeable. Granted, I know Tactical Slayer is like kind of a niche. I wouldn't say niche, like a more niche game mode that people in a 6-year-old game are trying to play, 5-year-old game are trying to play. But still, I shouldn't be running into the same guy 3 times when I play like 6 games. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm on PC Gamer just because I went down a rabbit hole of like the big updates that they had. So yeah, in 2023 was when they brought back the the old school Mountain Dew, and you could get like the armor and everything. And it was like, okay, we're bringing back Mountain Dew and doing that stuff. A year later is when they did a Halo 2 like anniversary thing where they brought, again, old maps from Halo 2, yada yada yada, and we had a big event. And then a year after that's when they did the Halo 3, like they did Griff Ball for a month, and they, like they were doing the updates and like the cool, like, look, here's a fun thing to come back to. But yeah, it was too spread out. Like, you should have done, I mean, not every game has to be Fortnite, but I think Fortnite being like, our season is like 3 months long, and then we'll have like a fun mini season in the middle of it. Obviously, they make a shit ton of money. Obviously, they get a ton of support. But like, yeah, this game should have had these cool updates like every 4 months instead of every year. Again, I'm not looking at an exact timeline of it to tell you exactly when all that stuff happened, but like, that's how it felt, at least.
Yeah, and I get like why they can't just keep every game mode around, right? Like, if you come out with a cool game mode and then you want to come out with like, a new themed season that features another type of game mode, you want the old one to go away so people aren't just playing, that. They want people playing the newest stuff. But still, like, that should only be like a limited thing. Like, if you have like a theme out, like the Halo 3 one or the Halo 2 one, and your lifespan for that is going to be, say, 6 months for whatever the lifespan of that battle pass is going to be, and then you're going to move on to the next thing. Move on to the next thing. Don't do that and then just take it away and then just have like the Snickle Fritz game modes in there with, just a basic battle pass, right? Like right now when I play the game, when I first launched it, I was really hoping that I would see those old game modes. Now that we're like at the end of life of this game, why not throw everything in there? Granted, like, you could still play all those maps and stuff. They're in rotation, but I want to play those specific game modes for the nostalgia, right? Like, I want to go into a match-made lobby that is all Halo 3 maps and not any of the
Halo 3
Infinite
Mountain
maps.
Dew. Yeah, give me that season in a playlist. That would be great.
Yeah, exactly. And like, the fact that that's not there is kind of really a big bummer. But yeah, the positives of it, it's still a ton of fun. The gameplay is a ton of fun. Big team battle is awesome. Like, that's a game mode I love just playing by myself. Like, don't get me wrong, I love playing with other people in that, but that's a game mode I could just get lost and play like 4 hours by myself in, just because, like, I don't know, like, when you get that many people in a lobby in any game, it's either going to be chaos or it's just going to be like, you're going to see some of the dumbest shit. Like, you're going to see people like stack 4 people standing on top of a warthog trying to drive across the map and shoot at a tank, right? Like, it's just like weird stuff like that. You're going to see people like in Banshees trying to jump on the Banshee and fly, their friend across the map to grab the flag for capture the flag. I don't know. It's a ton of fun, but I still wish there was more. I know, like, the theme of this is that Halo Infinite doesn't have enough content throughout the lifespan, right? Like, it's had content here and there, but not enough at one time to be like one of the top dogs, which is why it's dead and there's no Halo multiplayer in sight, right? We have Halo Campaign Evolved coming out with no multiplayer, which honestly is a little surprising that they didn't do any multiplayer. Like, I get why, because it's Halo 1, but if we see a Halo 2 remake and there's no multiplayer, something really bad is happening at 343, or Halo Studios, sorry. Something really bad is happening, because Halo 2 is like some of the most peak Halo multiplayer there is. And if they're not going to recreate that, then who knows what the future of Halo is, right?
I have a hypothesis that
I was going to ask Chad, how was your time with the game?
Well, I did play it a lot at launch. I played it with Joel and Matt and Dallas. We played a lot. And I did realize that I have a trend that I just play online multiplayer games when Joel plays them. And if Joel stops playing them, I stop playing them. That happened with this. That happened with Arc Raiders. Joel went on a work trip for a week. And
I was gone.
We haven't
I was
played
gone
Arc
for
Raiders since.
I was gone for like 1 week, and then nobody even texted about it.
Played that game again.
Nobody ever even texted about it again, which is kind of a bummer.
Weeks ago, we were going to do a Destiny
those
raid. We had 5 of us ready to go. We could have called Alex at any time, and he'd have been down to do it. But Joel said, "Hey, I'm not going to be there," and all of us were like, "Cool, we're not even going to fucking try." So we just play online games when Joel's there.
No, that wasn't me. That was Dallas who said he couldn't do it.
Oh, it's Dallas. Okay. So yeah, I played it a bunch at launch. I think what drove me to play it, aside from my friends playing it, I was always into like the battle passes. I was like, oh shit, I'm working my way towards the samurai armor. I'm working my way towards this particular cool looking thing. And I think what burned me out on it initially was the fact that you couldn't mix and match between armor sets. and then eventually you would just like you're unlocking a tiny pouch on your left leg on the hip of this one specific, and it's like no one's ever gonna fucking. I'm looking at this whole outfit right now, and I'm not even noticing where it is on my character. So like they weren't exciting anymore. But I'm wondering. I have a hypothesis when it comes to content that the studio is used to having a new game every few years, right? Every maybe 3. I don't know what the cadence was. It felt like it was much further or much closer together throughout the course of the game's history. So they didn't really have to think about making new content at a regular clip because they're like, cool, we'll release a map pack maybe a year into this one, and then we're concentrating on the next one, and then everyone plays Halo 4, everyone plays Halo ODST, everyone plays Halo 5, everyone plays whatever the new one is, rather than having to keep one alive. And so when they switched to this live service model, I have a feeling that they were like, we can just do the same thing, right? We'll release content at the same clip, but they might have had a Naughty Dog situation where they didn't realize how much work it is to keep up a live service game. And then they were like, oh, fuck, people in the age of Fortnite and, Call of Duty multiplayer and Warzone and all this kind of stuff. Like
Warzone is big, yeah.
You have competition and you got to keep people engaged, and you gotta, like that's not something they were expecting.
I forgot to hit record in OBS.
Oh, son of a
we have our audio
bitch.
at least.
Yeah, we have our audio.
We got the audio at least.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't need to see my face for 50 minutes.
This will be an audio only barf, and we'll put up a picture of like I don't know Halo Chief with his nipples out or something in the video.
Absolutely.
To go back to what you were saying though, Chad, they did update the customization to where you can mix and match armor. So that was a big update they had.
That did eventually happen, but I had already fallen off by then.
Yeah. That was like well after the game came out. I do want to touch base on Firefight because I played Firefight for quite a bit in this last month. And man, they have done some crazy things. Granted, a lot of it I think is fan-made projects that they put into official playlists because they were so good. But yeah, like obviously there's your standard Firefight, which is just waves of enemies coming at you. But there's now Firefight where you're like running through a fucking level, and it almost feels like a campaign mission that you're getting like, like hordes of enemies are coming at. Like you'll go into a space, a bunch of enemies come in, you kill them all, cool, on to the next space, and like you're really running from like arena to arena, and some of them are pretty far apart, and it's just really, really impressive that somebody made it. But yeah, ton of fun in Firefight. Again, you can only have so much fun playing something like that with randoms because some fuck ass is going to ruin it for everybody else and like just die a bunch, and then it's impossible. And then it's impossible to survive, and then you just all wipe, or somebody runs way ahead and then just starts spawning in way too many enemies, and then you die. So yeah. But yeah, Firefight is a ton of fun. If you haven't played it, definitely recommend checking that out too. I don't know. Anybody else got anything else to say? Well, what do we think the future of Halo multiplayer is?
I think obviously there's a lot of like realignment over at Xbox in general, so we'll see. I think it would be smart to I think they're doing Campaign Evolved to get everyone there used to Unreal. Like that's what a lot of people are suing, whatever. Yeah. I think when you make a new Halo, again, give it some time. You make a new Halo, you make a cool campaign, and then you have a team ready to do and support multiplayer. So you could still serve that out. I mean, basically, do the Call of Duty thing. It's like, yes, we're going to have a campaign. It'll be 6 to 10 hours or whatever, but then have people who are ready to make it an actual live service game. At least like for a year. Like, let's say we'll have the resources to have this ready for a year. It's easier to hire support because we're on Unreal compared to our own proprietary engine. It's easier to do. I think give it like a real go with like 3-month seasons for the first year and actually make sure you're ready to go. And then if it's success, then you continue to pump resources into that because you don't have to worry about single player anymore. But I think if you're going to do it again as a live service, you need to prepare for it for at least a year. Or you could just say, we're releasing a new Halo game. It's going to come out. We'll do an update. And then it'll be like, 3, 4, 5, everything except for Infinite. We're just going to do like we used to do. And then you can maybe get them out quicker. I think it's one of the two things. Either really try to do live service or go back to, this is a game, here's the multiplayer stuff. Play this until the next one comes out.
You know what's really going to piss me off? Is in 10 to 15 years when like there's, I don't know, some interview with somebody from Halo Studios that's like, Oh yeah, we made Halo Infinite, we made Halo multiplayer for Halo Campaign Evolve. We were playing it every day at the office. It just wasn't good enough to release, but it was a ton of fun, right? Like we just didn't have like we weren't instructed to pretty much make it because like there's no way that they have, you know, they already have co-op in Halo Campaign Evolved. There's no way that they couldn't just like flip a switch and like turn friendly fire on and start playing, you know, multiplayer in the corner of a campaign map.
Yeah, or maybe update
Here's
Master Chief Collection. Give us a big Unreal Engine update for Master Chief and put all that stuff in there and make a new big push for that. I don't know.
My speculation is that they're trying to move everything at Microsoft to Unreal Engine 5. And that's part of what a lot of these layoffs are around too, is like we can hire contractors for cheap and not have to worry about onboarding them into a new engine specific to us. Like, oh, you come from another company that's also on Unreal? Great, you can get started on day one making stuff for our new one. And when you move things to a new engine, it's impossible to accurately, like 100% reenact or remake the feel of how a game plays. So like you can't, like Campaign Evolved is going to feel different than Halo 1 remake in the Master Chief Collection did because it's a different engine and you can't go back and make something that feels identical to that in Unreal 5. And so I think what happened with the multiplayer is that they probably aren't, like if they were to remake all of the multiplayer content from all of these older Halo games, it's not going to play the same. I mean, hell, you're going to have a dash in Halo 1, and that would feel weird as shit. And so it's not going to play the same, and it's basically going to be a new version of this anyway. And so it probably just makes more sense to funnel those resources into a new standalone multiplayer thing that maybe you have maps from those, but it's going to feel different. So it's not worth recreating the old shit to try to please somebody. And if they're diehard Halo fans are like, oh, this doesn't play like the original anyway, then like you're only going to make people pissed off. Make the new thing, which up until a few weeks ago, I would have thought like, cool, it's Unreal Engine 5. It's going to be easy to port over to PlayStation 5, and they're going to make this new free-to-play Halo multiplayer across everything. But now I'm like, I don't know. Maybe they're only going to make it on Xbox. Maybe they only make it so that if you have a job at Xbox, you can play it, or some tiny portion of the Xbox community can play it. I don't know what they're trying to do anymore, but yeah, I think multiplayer, however, kind of what Adam was alluding to, I feel like it's going to be divorced from campaigns. Like it's going to stand alone as its own thing. Like it's going to be Fortnite versus Fortnite Save the World. Like Save the World is your, all right, I'm going to play this solo, or I'm going to play this with friends through the campaign, whatever it is. But then there's actually like the Halo multiplayer. And that's what people invest money into. That's what people invest time into. And that's what they're going to do. And that's what becomes known as Halo.
Or Warzone versus Call of Duty, whatever number of year this is.
Right,
like,
exactly.
There's stuff there and there's a little bit of crossover, but it's really the multiplayer people have their thing, and then we will still make, you know, campaign games that maybe have multiplayer stuff in it, but there's like a main. Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. They've got options.
but so even if Chad's right that there is like a separate multiplayer thing, which I think probably does make sense, I don't think there's any way they announce a Halo 2 remake without also mentioning that they're doing something with the multiplayer. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, they've got to
like they have to acknowledge. Yeah, they have to acknowledge what the multiplayer is going to be, because people are going to have too high of expectations, thinking that they're getting a remake of Halo 2 multiplayer, and then just them not to say anything. Halo 2 Campaign Evolved, whatever the fuck whatever it's going to be called. They have to, at that point, there's no way that they cannot acknowledge any sort of multiplayer for Halo. But yeah, I do think that the future, I think, is them remaking the Halo games, at least for now. I don't know where that stops. I do think that they'd probably make a Halo 2, just because those are, like, Halo 1, 2, and 3 are very popular Halo games, I would say. Halo 1 and 2 being the most popular. So yeah. Yeah, I think that pretty much sums up this episode of BARF. This has been the BARF for Halo Infinite multiplayer. Can somebody else do this outro? I don't know what to say. So like, share, subscribe.
Thanks for subscribing on patreon.com/respawn-aim-fire. Next month, July and August, your BARF is Sekiro, which you all have voted on. Joel is opting out of that one, but Adam's going to play along, I think. So you have until the end of August to play Sekiro. If you want to be on the show, talk about it, so send us your thoughts, whatever it is, reach out, let us know, and we will gladly include you in some way. That's it. Thanks, folks. Bye.
Bye.
So awkward at the end.
Yeah.
All right. Pop.